decimal in it, okay? What form is this? A number mixed up with the word. Remember that?
Expanded.
Unit. Well, you got one of the right words, so that's good, okay? Unit form. We did this back in the very first unit that we had, okay? So how would I write 10 tenths?
1.
1.0. But what can I erase?
0.
And? Good. So what about 90 tenths?
9.
93 tenths?
93.
Okay. You want to finish the rest of the tenths?
Sure.
And then wait and I'll get you started on the hundredths. Okay? Then look up and check yours with mine. Okay, we good? Did I mess up? Okay. So 9 hundredths. Now this means that the last digit I write will be 2 digits behind the decimal. Okay? And you know how to write 9 hundredths, don't you? Okay? How would you write 10 hundredths? Right? So 0.10, but what can we get rid of?
0.
The second 0, right? Okay, you want to try the rest of these, or do you want my help on any of it? Here's a hint. If it's got 4 digits, that's what it's going to look like. You're going to have 2 digits behind and 2 digits in front. Okay, I'm going to pause it while you finish these. So what am I going to write on 90 hundredths? Table 1, tell me.
0.9.
Okay. And table 2.
0.47.
Good, good. Because 9.7 would have been tenths, wouldn't it? Okay. Table 3.
9. Oh wait, no, 1.
Good. Here's 100 hundredths. What can I get rid of?
The 2 zeros in the decimal.
Very good. Okay. Table 4.
9.
Wonder where you got that idea. Table 5.
9.7.
Good job. Okay, table 6. You're the lucky winner here. What am I going to write?
10.
10. Very good. Okay. Table 2.
80.
80. Table 5.
84.
Good. Oops, I forgot my 1. And table 3.
59.
59.46. Now, who are we missing? Anybody absent today?
Eileen.
Okay. All right. So that's a review of decimal place value. We good?
Mhm.
Okay. This is something a little new, and I think you're going to like it. And yours looks a little different than mine. Okay, but that's fine. So basically, let me just fix this so it looks the same. All right, so let's take a look at this first one. What's 12 tenths divided by 3? 4 tenths. How do you write it?
0.4.
Okay. Now I'm going to do 12 tenths divided by 30, and there's a really cool, easy way to do it. You can decompose 30 into 3 times 10. Go ahead and write that down, please. Okay? And then I'm going to put 3 numbers in my problem. I'm going to put 12 tenths divided by 3 divided by 10. Now I'm going to add something else. Are you ready? So instead of writing 30, what did I write?
3
and 10. Now I'm going to add something else. Parentheses. What does that do?
You have
to do that part first. Very good. Okay. So 12 tenths divided by 3, we already know. What is it? And so we're going to do 4 tenths divided by 10. Everybody write it. 4 tenths divided by 10. Okay. So how do I solve this problem? Ashley? I don't want to do this, do I?
No.
No, because that's pointless. That's not working smarter, is it? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple options. Are you ready? Okay, when I multiply times 10, I can put a 0 on the end, right? So when I divide by 10, I can take a 0 off the end. But what do I do when there's no 0 on the end?
Add a decimal at the end.
You're close. What trick are we using instead of the 0 trick?
Decimal trick.
Decimal trick. So which way does a decimal move?
To the left.
How many?
1.
Okay. So the answer will be, instead of 4/10, what is it?
0.0.
Well, what's the number? 4 what?
400.
400ths. Okay. Now let's do the next one. And I thought, why are we doing this? And then I figured it out. Okay, so what's 8 divided by 4?
2.
Okay. And then if I decompose 40,
20.
okay, so we're gonna rewrite the problem. Okay? So it's gonna be 8 divided by 4 divided by 10. Everybody write that. And some of you already have this figured out, don't you? And put your parentheses on. And we already know what 8 divided by 4 is.
2.
So 2 divided by 10. Now, before you write anything, before you hop a decimal, I want to remind you something. Are you ready?
Mhm.
This is also 2 divided by 10. How do you write that as a decimal?
0.2.
You got it. 2/10. 2/10. If I would have hopped that decimal, put it at the end and hopped it, would I have gotten 2/10?
Yes.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go down. So we got this right here. Okay. 96/10 divided by 3. And when I do this, I'm just going to ignore the decimal and just think of 96 divided by 3. Think about it. This is how I did it earlier. I did 6 divided by 3. What's that?
3. Or 2.
And 9 divided by 3.
2. 3.
And then I put the decimal in. Where does the decimal go?
In the middle.
In between. Okay? And the reason is because if I divide by a whole number, my decimal place value stays the same in most cases. Okay? All right. Unless it's a power of 10. So what will I decompose here?
3 and 10. Or the 30.
Yeah, probably not the 9 and the 6. We're going to want to keep a 10 at the end, right?
Yeah.
So this will be 9.6 divided by 3 divided by 10. Okay? So we already know that 9.6 divided by 3 is,
3.2.
so 3.2 divided by 10. Now this one, what am I going to do?
Decimal point.
Hop it once to the left. Very good. So my answer is?
0.32.
Okay. All right. You're going to try the last one on your own. Now I want you to be careful because I messed up the first time. This is what I wrote for my answer the first time and I was wrong. What's wrong with that answer?
That's a decimal.
Anybody know what's wrong with that answer? The 9's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's wrong, Henry?
Like, you needed to put the 9 in the hundreds.
I needed to put the 9 in the hundredths place. So if the decimal place value stays the same, I'm going to have how many digits behind the decimal? 2. Okay? So be careful when you do this one. Decompose the 50. I'll pause it. All right, let's take a look at it. So how about table 4? Table 4, what did you write on this slide?
0.45 divided by 5 divided by 10.
Good. Did you put any parentheses?
Now I did.
Okay, so that's the part you'll do first, right? Okay, whose turn is it? Table 1. What do you think?
0.09 divided by 10.
Good. And how about table 6? What did you get for your answer?
0.009.
How do you say that number?
9
9 thousandths. Very good. Okay, we're skipping the next one. So you can put an X through it. Okay. And we're going to go to this page. Now, we're going to use remainders when we solve these, and it's a review of last week and even a review of yesterday. Okay? And I'm going to help you get started, and then we're going to go through these. So which number goes in the doghouse?
The first one.
The first one. Good. And what are we dividing by?
32.
Go ahead and do that much now. What will we think of instead of 32 when we're trying to get started? 30. So up here, let's see. Maybe over here I'm just going to put 30 and circle it. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay? Now, what do I do next? Nellie.
You gotta count by 30 to see how much you can. Yeah, you gotta put a box.
Got to put a box around 90. Okay? Then you're going to think of how many 30s would go into 90. But this is not 30, is it?
No, it's 32.
So will 3 of them go in there?
No.
No. So how many am I going to use?
2.
And I'm going to write it down. And the reason I'm writing it down is because we're all at a different place here. Okay? Some of us can do that in our heads and just divide as we go. And some of us still need to think about what 2 numbers will I write in my long division problem. Okay? So, Javen, where do I write the 2?
You put the 2 on top of the 0 and you put 64 under 90.
Oh my goodness. Is he correct?
Yes.
Okay, and this is very important. If you write the box, you are going to put your first digit above the last digit in the box. If you don't write the box, then you're going to get confused. Okay? So for right now, I either want you to highlight or draw the box. Got it? Okay. So when I subtract, there's regrouping here, right?
Yep.
So Ashley, what do I get when I subtract?
26.
26. Now, put your pencils down. I want to show you a mistake I saw earlier. Okay? The kid said, oh, I can't divide into 26, so I'm going to have to write a 0 at the top.
Nope.
Okay, so Harper, tell me, what did that child forget?
To take down
Right. So you can't decide that until you bring down the next number. Okay? So you're absolutely right. Now we can divide, can't we? So we don't need a 0 at the top. Now this is going to be pretty big. Have I shown you my little trick of just using part of the number?
Mhm.
How many times will 3 go into 26? 8 times. So I'm going to try an 8. And what I mean when I'm going to try an 8 is I'm going to write down 32 times 8 and figure it out.
It's good.
Yeah,
We're in different classes.
I know. Okay, so we're trying an 8, correct? So 2 times 8.
6.
All right, does that work?
Yes.
Okay, so here are the 2 numbers that go in my long division problem. Does that help when I circle those? You getting closer? Okay, so Isaiah, where do I write the 8?
Above the 4.
Very good. And Kyle, what goes below the 264?
2, 5, 6 minus and the line.
Good. Ooh, and the line. Now we're talking. Okay, so is this regrouping?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write down my thinking, but have you noticed I've been doing that in my head quite a bit?
Yeah.
And it's fine if you do it in your head as long as you're not wrong. Okay? So 14 minus 6, what is it?
7.
8. So this is 28 remainder 8. We got that far? Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other one. Okay, so what number goes in the doghouse?
456.
456. Divided by,
16.
okay. And I'm going to draw my box because 16 will, whoops, didn't change the color. 16 will go into 45. Okay? Now, what's my next step?
round it.
I could round it to 20, but what number is closer than 20?
15.
15. So I'm going to write a 15. I'm going to think 15. I'm going to use 16. So I'm getting pretty good at my 15s, are you? 15, 30, 45. What comes next? 60, 75, 90. Okay. So how many 15s will go into 45?
3.
3. So should we try a 3?
No.
Yes. Okay, now after I did that, I thought, well, I could have done that in my head. But it's there, okay? So Peyton, where do I write the 3? Above the 5. And what goes below the 45, Harper?
48.
Uh-oh.
45.
Uh-oh, what's wrong?
It's too big.
It's too big. 48's too big, so what do I need to do?
32.
So I'm going to use a 2. And we already know it's 32. Now let's go back. Peyton, what number goes at the top? The 2 or the 3? The 2. And what number goes at the bottom, Harper?
32.
Very good. How many of you were looking at me like, what in the world is she doing?
I was just going.
You were just going with it? Well, make sure you correct me if you see a mistake. I prefer polite corrections. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have regrouping here?
Yeah. No.
No, that's nice. Okay, now here's a mistake I saw. Oh, 16 won't divide into 13, so I better write a 0 at the top. What's wrong with that, Javen?
Put down the 6.
You have to bring down the 6. Okay, so here's what I know. I know that 16 times 3 would be 48, and I've got to get to 136. So I'm going to go back to 15. 15, 30, 45. I know 15 times 6 is 90. So how many more 15s do you think I need? What should we try? An 8? Okay. So 16 times 8. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. So back to, where do I write my 8? Where do I write my 128? And I think we all know, don't we? Oops, 128. And so, according to this, according to Henry, we've got the same answer here.
How'd you know it's me?
I just recognize your voice. So does that mean I would put an equal sign in the circle?
Yes.
Dusty's looking like, I'm not sure. How can I figure out if one of these is larger than the other? There's a couple ways. Angel, what's your idea?
You can check.
I could check it? That wouldn't tell me. That'd just tell me if I got the answer right. Okay? So how can I figure out if one of these 28 remainder 8s is larger than the other one? Dusty, what do you think?
28 remainder 8, 28 minus 28
Uh, yeah, that would just get you back. But I like the way you're thinking, okay? Erin, what are you thinking?
You could take the divisors.
You can look at the divisors. You're getting closer. I'm gonna write something for you, and then I think you're gonna get it, okay? But I'm gonna move that up here, what I'm gonna write. Okay, are we ready? And I'm gonna change to black so you can see it. That was on a poster that I had to take down when we did assessments. Now, what does the Q stand for? Quotient and remainder over divisor. So now, Dusty, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we have to put both of them into
Mixed number?
mixed number.
Okay, change them to mixed numbers. How do I do that? I write my quotient, which is 28, And I will take my remainder, put it on top of my divisor. So that's 28 and 8/32. And this one, what's my quotient? 28 and 8/16. Now, is there any way I can change those to decimals?
Yes.
Probably so. First of all, let's simplify. Okay? So help me out here. 28 and 8/16, what would that be simplified? 28 and a half. Everybody write 28 and a half. Now 8/32 is a little harder to simplify. You're going to have to divide by
4,
higher.
8.
8. Who said it? Jolene, divide by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1/4. Now can I figure out what these are as decimals? Well, I know what half is as a decimal. Do you? I sure hope so. Yeah, it's right. It's 0.5. So 28 and a half would be 28.5. Okay? So I think you'll get this one as soon as I say it a different way. 28 1/4, 28 1/4. What do you think this one is as a decimal? Henry? You're doing the other one. 28 1/4. I write that as a decimal. You want to say it? Yep. You got it. 0.25, right? Okay, so this would be 28.25. Now, what if you're no good at changing a fraction to a decimal? Is there a way we could use decimals in these problems? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, erase your remainders. We're going to do that. This is a reminder of how to do it. And I'm going to get rid of this stuff over here so it's not so jumbled up. Okay. So if we're right, this is going to be 28.25. We're going to prove it. Okay? Now, how can I add a decimal to this number without changing the value? Aaron?
Put a decimal and 2 zeros.
Well, we're going to at least put a decimal, right? And then I can write however many zeros I want here, can't I? Because 904.000 is the same value as 904, correct? So I'm not changing the value, I'm just finishing the problem. We did this before, boys and girls, but it was way earlier in the year. So it's okay if you forgot. So here's what we're doing. We're going to drop that 0 until we end up with no remainder. Okay? So go ahead. Now we're looking at 80. How many times will 30 go into 80? Twice. So I'm going to put the 2 above the 0. Do you remember what 32 times 2 was? 64. And then you're going to subtract. And I am running out of room. So what'd you get? 16. Okay, and I said I'm going to have to keep going until there's no remainder. So what do I need to do again? Yep. We need another 0, and it's going down farther this time. Okay, are you writing this? Now, when Isaiah said it was 0.25, I'm thinking maybe we should just try 5 and see if it's going to work. What do you think? So what will I take times 5? 32 times 5. Everybody do it. See if that gives you the right answer. Is it? I love this kind of math. So now, what do I write at the top? 5. What do I write at the bottom?
60 equals 0.
And I have a perfect problem. Okay? Now we're going to do the same thing over here. So erase your remainder if you haven't. And somebody told me what this was, 28.5. Okay, 28.5 would be 28.5. So if that's the case, we should be able to multiply 16 times 5, and it's going to come out to be 80. So let's see. Okay, so is that it?
Yep.
Totally. So now I know without a shadow of a doubt, because I've done them both two different ways, I know which one of these quotients is larger. Which one is it?
The half.
The half. Half of a pan of brownies is better than a fourth of a pan of brownies. Right? Okay, we're going to keep going. Okay, so here's the next problem. Does yours say problem 3?
Yes.
No.
Oh, wait, no.
Doesn't say anything?
This is
Well, it's going to be the third problem, okay? So which number goes inside the doghouse? The first one. So 834.6. And I'm going to make my doghouse a little longer because scrunching this in is not a good idea. I want to spread these digits out so I can actually see what's going on. And here's the deal, boys and girls. If I'm dividing by a whole number, so look where I'm pointing, my divisor, 26, does not have a decimal, then I get to move my decimal directly up and forget about it. Okay, just like earlier. And if it bothers you, then erase it, but make sure you got it on the top so you know where it goes in your answer, okay? Next step, where will I draw my box?
under the 4. Oh,
83, okay? Will 26 go into 83?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we gonna think of this as 30 or are we gonna think of it as 25?
25.
Wanna go with 25? So 25, 50, 75. How many times do you think it'll go into 83? 3 times. Okay, so I'm gonna try 3. Does it work?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got a 3 and a 78. You put those where they go. Be very careful. Remember, the first digit you write on the top goes above the last digit inside your box. And if you're not writing your box, you're going to get messed up. At least for right now. Okay? Now, we'll subtract 78, right?
Yep.
And that's 13. I'm going to do it in my head because I don't want to write anything on top of the 83. I want to be able to see it. So 13 minus 8 is, okay, is 5 less than 26?
Yes.
So bring down my,
Which is 54.
okay, so do you think we can put 26 in there twice?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's give it a try. So 26 times 2. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So we've got a 2 and a 52. Now, where do I write the 2?
Above the 4.
Above the 4. And sometimes when kids write, and it's messy, or they write and it's too tiny and it's squished together, they'll get these digits in the wrong place, and 32 point something is a lot different than 3.2 something. So you got to make sure they're in the right place. And I've got a 2. Did you get a 2?
Yeah.
Can I bring down my 6?
Yes. 22.
Oh, this is nice.
Yes.
So what do I need to put at the top?
1.
1. And we like it when it works out like this.
Yeah.
So this one worked out with a 0 remainder to start with. Okay? Now, go back to last week. Are you ready? Okay. How do I check a division problem? Multiply. And it's nice because I don't have to add in my remainder this time, do I? Which number do you think I should put on top?
32.
32.1 because it's longer. And we want the longest number on top. So 32.1. Now, how many of you want to take that out and make it 321? You can totally do that. You just have to remember that your answer will be in what place value? What? Tenths. So I sometimes write tenths just to remind myself. Or I leave the decimal in. So here we go. Turtle head multiplication. My 0 looked a little bit like a 6, so I'm fixing it. Okay, am I done?
Yes. Oh no!
What do I need to do?
What the?
Your remainder. Decimal.
I don't need to add my remainder. There's no remainder.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that. So when there's a 0 here, don't bother adding 0 because we already know what the answer is going to be. But the only thing I hadn't done was put my decimal in. We good? Let's do another. All right, let's look at the next one. So I'm going to put 48.36, and if you need to make your doghouse longer, do it. We're going to divide by 39. What's the first thing I need to do here? Nellie, what do you think it is?
Draw a box around.
Not yet. I got something that's very, 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 very important, Kyle.
Oh, take out the decimal.
Well, we're going to move it up.
Oh, yeah.
And if this is a whole number, we're going to move it straight up. And then if you want to erase it, you can, but you don't have to. The thing about the decimal is, though, you're done with it. You don't have to bring it all the way down in the problem. You're just done with it. Okay? Now, Nellie, what's the next step?
We're gonna put a box around 48.
Put a box around 48. Okay? So what should I do with 39? What should I think of it as? 40. I'm going to think of it as a 40, but I'm going to use a 39. So how many times will it go into 48?
One.
One time?
Yeah.
Okay, get busy. Let's see what we've got here. Did you get 9?
Yep.
All right. Can I bring down my 3?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm thinking of 40. How many times will 40 go into 93? Twice. So what number do I take times 2? 39. Remember, 40 is just what I'm thinking of when I'm trying to find the starting point. So this is, I've done this before today, haven't I? What's the answer?
78.
Okay, so the two numbers that go in my long division, problem are 2 and 78. Where do I write the 2? Above the 3. And this is 78. When you subtract, it looks like we're regrouping again. And I think the fact of the day might be 8 plus 5 equals 13.
Yeah.
Or 13 minus 8 equals 5. So is that what you got? Now can I put the 0 at the top? Because I've really been wanting to put the 0 at the top all day. Nope. What do I need to do? Got to bring the 6 down. Now I need to think, okay, 4 times what would be 16 or 15? 4 times 4 is too big, isn't it? So 4 times what?
3.
Okay. So what do I take times 3?
39.
39 times 3. I don't know. Maybe 4 would work. This isn't going to work, is it?
Mm-mm.
You think we can go higher?
Yeah.
So 39 times what?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So what do I do now?
Subtraction.
Well, I've got to write a number at the top.
Oh, 4.
The 4,
Above the 6.
good.
And
And
then
subtract and I get 0. Whoops. And so how will I check this?
You gotta multiply 1.24 and 39.
Okay, and which number should I put on top?
124. 124.
Okay, so 1.24. If you're taking the decimal out, what place value will your answer be in? Hundreds. So I would have 2 digits behind the decimal. Because how many are behind the decimal in this number? Right. Okay, so go ahead and multiply and see what you get. I feel like I messed up.
Yeah.
But I don't think I did. Okay, am I done?
No, you gotta add your decimal.
Add my decimal. Check to see if they match. Okay, we've got one more problem. We might not have time to check it, but let's do it. Okay, and then we'll see what time it is. And I've got to fix it. All right, so 8.61 divided by 41. Okay, what's my very first step? Ashley, move the decimal up. And I know it goes directly up because 41 is a whole number. Thank you. So now can I forget about the decimal at the bottom? Yeah. Step 2. I'm going to let them think for a minute. I need to draw a box, don't I? Nellie, where do you think the box should go?
It should end at the 6 and then go under.
So like that?
Yeah.
So instead of 8.6, we're going to think of 86. Okay? So how many times do you think 41 will go into 86? Twice. Uh-oh, I'm writing with a pink by accident. You okay with that?
Yeah.
So what 2 numbers go in my problem?
82 and 2.
Okay, now we got to stop and think about where these need to go. So, Javen, where should I put that 2?
On the top of the 8, well above the 8, and then 82 is on
Now, I thought I said you're going to put that first digit on top of the last number in the box. Is that what I said? So, are you putting it on top of the 8 or on top of the 6?
the 6.
Okay, so put the 2 there, and then the 82 down here gives me 4.
And bring down the 1. And then that's
Oh, that's nice.
And then you gotta multiply it by 1 and subtract 41.
Okay, so what's the actual answer to this problem?
2100.
And how would I write it?
0.21.
Okay, but I'm thinking, we're going to go ahead and check this real quick. I'm thinking that I don't need the 0 and the decimal when I do the actual multiplication problem, do I? So I'm going to do 41 times 21. Go ahead and do that, boys and girls. And what place value will my answer be in? The hundreds. Okay, so you're not leaving. You're going to let me finish my video. Whoops. I better do the math right. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to ask you one more question, and you're going to help me with it, right? If I were going to try and decide which one of these numbers or these problems have the largest answer, what strategy would I use? You don't have to do it. I just want to know what your strategy would be. Think back to what we did before when we had to put something in the circle. Should I just go back and look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to finish this part of it. It's pretty important. To figure out my exact answer, Henry, what do I need to do? Add that, before I add the zeros, what do I add? The decimal. And could you come up with a fraction? But it's harder to turn a fraction into a decimal. Okay? So it might be easier just to add the decimal ahead of time. Okay? All right, we're going to continue this tomorrow. Good job.